To succeed in business, you must differentiate yourself from your competition. You've got to tell your community of raving fans why they should do business with you over anyone else, or doing nothing. And let's face it, the or doing nothing part might be the biggest objection that you need to overcome. So how do you do that without sounding boastful or bragging or putting down the competition? Because that's not the way to inspire people to do business with you. So how do you do it? Well, the answer lies in telling a true personal story. So if you've got a physical product to sell, or if you're an author, a mentor, a coach, or a consultant, or if you're a property investor looking to raise money so you can build your property dreams at the speed of your ambition, starting with none of your own money, then this will be the most important video you watch today. Why? Because I'm going to show you how to differentiate yourself, your product, or your service through the power of storytelling. So to make your community feel good about buying, you've got to answer one simple question for them, and that's, why should I do business with you over anyone else or doing nothing? So storytelling is the key to this, and this is the secret if you're selling a physical product, if you're selling a service, or if you're trying to raise finance. So let's just talk about you if you're a property investor. So if you're a property investor and you're trying to build your property portfolio at the speed of your ambition, then even if you get started with your own money, there comes a point when all of your money is tied up in deals. So you get started quickly, and you're able to, get going as fast as your ambition and your other commitments will allow. But what happens? Eventually, all of your money is tied up in deals. So you're either waiting for the deal to complete, you're waiting to recycle your cash, but fundamentally, you've reached a roadblock. You've got to stop investing, you've got to stop taking action because you've run out of cash. So how do you prevent that? You prevent that by working with other people, whether that's JV partners, whether it's money partners, whether it's private equity, whether it's angel investors, it's irrelevant. What you need to do is the same, and that is you need to raise finance so that you can build your property dreams and your property empire at the speed of your ambition. Now, if you're buying buy-to-lets, or even if you're an HMO investor, or if you're a developer, are you doing anything different to anybody else? Not really, right? If you're buying property, you're doing it in a profitable way, you're able to recycle your cash. These are all great things, but that doesn't make you unique. So if I'm your potential JV partner, why should I do business with you? Why should I give my money to you over anybody else? Now, if you're able to tell me a true personal story so that I connect with you and your values, so that you demonstrate your dedication and your ambition and your passion, then you've demonstrated what makes you unique. You've made me want to work with you. So, how do you tell a true personal story like that? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. And if you're thinking that you don't have an inspirational personal story, well, let me tell you that you're wrong. You just need to have the courage to tell it. Why do you need courage? Well, we'll get to that in a minute too. But first, let me go on to the next group of people. So if you're a coach or a mentor, why do you need to tell true personal stories? Well, again, what are you doing? You're giving someone a proven system to achieve a specific result. Achieve a specific outcome. And hopefully, ideally, it's the fastest way to do that. So let's say you're a property trainer. So let's say you're teaching people how to invest in buy-to-let. That's great, This is the best way to get started in property, the way to cut your teeth. But is your system of buying buy-to-let property any different to anybody else's? Equally, if you're teaching people how to invest in HMOs, is your system any different to anybody else's? Or if you're teaching people how to do developments, how to convert offices into flats, is your system any different to anybody else's? If not, why should I do business with you over anyone else? Or doing nothing? Well, your doing nothing part should be simple, because I know that I want to invest in property. But you need to tell me why I should do business with you. And the answer lies in telling a true personal story. Why? Because I will want to work with you because of your values, because of your situation, because of the dedication and the passion that you put into what you're doing today and every day. because of how you overcame the obstacles in your life. So how do you tell a true personal story? Like I say, we're going to get to that in just a moment. But let me just talk about the one final category of people that this system can help, and that's a consultant. So if you're a consultant and you're selling, again, you're selling a specific result with little or none of your client's time. So that's really powerful. That's a great thing to be able to do. But if you're a consultant, are you doing anything unique? Are you doing anything different to anybody else? So if, like me, you're a marketing consultant, what are you doing? You're telling people, I'm going to put money in your bank account every month. I'm going to turn your expertise into cash. Okay, great, but does that make me unique? Well, I say to people, I'm going to turn your expertise into cash on a no-win, no-fee basis. So you don't risk a penny. So maybe that makes me unique, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe there are other people out there that are doing that. So what is it that's going to make me unique? You know, if you're a quantity surveyor, what makes you unique? Yes, you can save your clients money, but doesn't every quantity surveyor do the same thing? How can you make yourself unique? How can you tell your community of raving fans why they should do business with you over anyone else or doing nothing? And the answer lies in telling true personal stories. So how do you tell an inspiring personal story? Well, the answer lies in a simple 5-step system. So, step 1 is the setting. Step 2 is character. Step 3 is the struggle. Step 4 is the solution. And step 5 is the outcome. So let's look at each of these in turn. So, step 1 is the setting. Now, every story takes place in a specific place at a specific time. So your job as the storyteller is to use elements from your reader or listener or viewer's life so that they can be sitting or standing right next to you. Yeah? You've got to show them how you felt in that particular moment. You've got to tell them what you heard. You've got to show them what you saw so that they can be right there with you. Now, you don't need to write a treatise to do this. It doesn't need to be long. In fact, you can do it in as little as 2 sentences. So my favorite story introduction is from a Paul Simon song, which says, I was having a discussion in a taxi heading downtown. Me and a friend of mine had a little bit of a breakdown. So that's just 2 short sentences. Now, because of the word downtown, I'm immediately sitting there in the taxi with Paul Simon. I imagine it's one of those yellow cabs and we're driving into New York. Now, are we driving during the day or at night? Are we stuck in traffic? Is it a rush hour? I don't know. And to me, that's not what's relevant. Why? Because I want to know what him and his friend are arguing about. That's where the story takes me. That's because of that simple introduction. Yeah? So you might have a different picture in your head, and that's okay. That's the power of storytelling. Each listener or viewer or reader creates an image in their own mind based on their own experiences. So that's how you carry the listener or reader with you. Yeah? So the next element that you need is a character. So every story has at least one character. And if the story only has one character, the character has to be the hero of the story. And if you're telling your story, then you are the hero of your own story. Now, to make the hero interesting to your audience, the hero has to want something badly. And the audience needs to know what is preventing the hero from getting what he wants. Yeah? So this takes us nicely on to step 3, which is the struggle. Yeah? So what is the obstacle that is preventing the hero from getting what he wants? And it's, what does that obstacle look like? How big is it? How heavy is it? How hard is it for the hero to get around the obstacle? Because the struggle is what makes a story interesting. That's what hooks a reader for the length of a novel, or a movie, or a TV series. That's what keeps the reader coming back. Why? Because they want to know if the hero can overcome this obstacle, if they have the dedication and the tenacity and the ambition to get through the struggle so that they can succeed. So you've got to get clear on all the struggles that you went through in your own journey to get to where you wanted to go. So step 4 is the solution. Now this is ultimately what you are selling. Yeah? So if you're selling a physical product, it's the solution to get what you want quickly. Similarly, if you're a consultant, if you're a coach or a mentor, the solution is your 5-step system or your 3-step system, whatever it is. Yeah. If you're a consultant, the solution is how you're able to give your clients a specific result with virtually none of their time. Yeah. Now, you don't need to go into great detail about what the solution is, because the only thing your reader or listener or viewer cares about is what it will do for them, which brings us on to the outcome. So the outcome is, what does the hero's life look like now that the obstacle has been removed? So again, this is where your skills as a storyteller come into play, because you need your reader or listener or viewer to be able to see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel how you felt in that particular moment. So if you've been able to quit your job and you're now following your passion and doing what you love, then tell them how that feels. If with this solution you're now able to travel the world, show your community where you've been. Yeah? Because by telling them what the outcome has done for you in your life, what you're really also doing is telling them what this solution will do for them once they take it, once they grab it, once they take action. Because that's what you're trying to do. Persuade them to take the action that you want them to. And there's a good reason why you're doing that. Yeah? You're doing it for ethical reasons, because you want to help them. Yeah? And you can only help people do that if they take the action that you need them to. Now, what if you're thinking you don't have an inspirational personal story? Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're just lying to yourself, because everybody has an inspirational personal story. Yeah? And you can tell yours when you're honest about the moment when you said enough is enough. When you said, I'm not putting up with this anymore. Now, what was it about that day? What happened on that day that made you make a change in your life? Now, if you're anything like me, that day was a painful moment. It was a scary moment. But it was an important moment. Why? Because that created a change in your life that led you to a better life, which is where you are today. Now, what was my moment when I said enough was enough? When did I realize that a change was coming? Well, in my life, it was Monday the 15th of September, 2008. Why? Because that was the day Lehman Brothers went bust. That was the day I hit the iceberg. And I remember the exact moment it happened and exactly where I was. I was sat on the edge of a bed in a hotel room in Barcelona, and I was waiting for my wife to take a shower before we went out for dinner. We were in Barcelona on honeymoon, and as I absent-mindedly turned on the television, I was terrified by what I saw. I was staring at this thing wide-eyed and open-mouthed. Why? Because I wanted to know what it all meant. Now, that was when I hit the iceberg. That was the moment things changed. But of course, I immediately told myself that no, I'm going to be different. And unfortunately, I wasn't different. My photography and graphic design business failed. And when it did, that was the moment when I said to myself, hey, I wasn't the best photographer in the world, but I was good enough to make a living from it. So why did my business fail when others didn't? The reason why it failed was that I didn't have a proven system where marketing could make the cash register ring. And that was when I set out on a quest to discover that. Now, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't an easy journey to find. It wasn't like, hey, I want to know how to do this. I read a book and I found it instantly and off I went. No. I didn't know where to start looking. I didn't have the money to try anymore. So I got a job in marketing. And I was hoping that I would find the answers there, but when I didn't, I then turned to traditional education. And when I didn't find the answers there, I had to keep looking. But even when I discovered the term direct response marketing, it wasn't like everything suddenly fell into place. Why? Because I was trying to piece together a puzzle without knowing what the final picture would look like, how many pieces I needed to have, or where to find the pieces. So it was a chaotic journey of going from here to there to there. It was a journey of discovery, but it was a delightful journey. Why? Because I loved every minute, because every step that I took, well, not quite every step, some steps took me closer towards my quest, what I was searching for. Other steps led me down a dead end. But ultimately, everything was taking me further forward. And that's where I am today. That's how I was able to piece together a system that enabled me to make £672,989 in just 9 days. Now, we've come a long way from how do you make yourself unique, how do you make yourself memorable, how do you allow your community to sell themselves on working with you, and that is with storytelling. Yeah? Remember that storytelling gives you a competitive advantage that nobody can steal, because nobody else has your story. Now, I hope you found this useful, and if you have, please share it with somebody else. But what I don't want you to do is to just watch this and say, yeah, that's interesting, and then do nothing. Because to make a change in your life, you've got to take some action. So I really hope that you use this system and you start telling your own stories, your own, really go through each of the steps of the 5-step system to tell your own inspirational personal story, your own epic story. Now, you might be thinking, hey Roland, you've covered a lot in this video and I haven't been taking notes. And guess what? That's okay. Because I've written an ebook for you that you can download by clicking the link just below this video. Now, the ebook is called How to Turn Your Expertise into Cash. And the best thing is that I've outlined the simple 5-step system so that I can show you how I was able to make £672,989 in just 9 days. Now, to give you a little bit of a sneak preview, it all starts with building a community of raving fans. Now, how do you do that for free? I've outlined that in the ebook. It then comes to how do you earn the trust of your community so that they understand what you do, how you can help them, and what makes you different. Now, that is all with storytelling, and I've outlined the 5 steps to tell an inspirational personal story in the ebook, yeah? And then most importantly, it's how do you make your community feel good about buying? And again, the answer lies in a personal story. So that's all in the ebook, and all you've got to do to download it right now is to click the link below this video. So I hope you've enjoyed this, I hope you found it useful, and until next time, carpe diem.